All right, Thursday morning yoga. For today's class, you'll want to have a strap, hopefully one that you can create a loop with. So let's go ahead and set that loop up for a request for some arm strengthening postures. So if you can't create a loop, like your strap doesn't have a buckle, you could make sort of a lasso and tie a knot, but you'll want to adjust the diameter of that loop against your chest so that it is almost your shoulder's width in diameter. Almost, so maybe there's like an excess or less, like an inch less. Basically, we're going to use that loop to stick our upper arms inside, like we've done a couple weeks ago, right above the elbows, not the forearms. And you'll want to pull on the strap, but not be able to splay your elbows wider apart than your shoulders distance. And you'll want to have two blocks. And if you can also use rolled up firm blanket or pillow, things like that. We're going to begin in a heart opening posture. So placing one block across your mat on its medium height. And if you don't have any blocks or anything like that, you can be flat on the ground on your back too. So you want to have that block where you could land the bottom tips of your shoulder blades onto it. Ladies, that's where the bra strap is. And the second block will be on its highest height, further away, to catch the back of your skull so that your shoulders will be hanging freely in the space between. And then we're going to have the strap, pelvis is on the floor. You can either cross your legs, begin to open the hips that way, or bring the feet to touch, bend the knees apart in Supta Baddha Konasana. And with the strap, the arms are going to be overhead, and then you're going to catch hold of opposite elbows. So the strap will prevent your elbows from splaying apart wider than shoulders distance. Now, if you're feeling a bit tight on the shoulders, maybe your elbows are going to be more overhead like this, where you could see them in front of your face, and that's fine. So we're going to be here for a couple of minutes to start. So on your own, take about 10 natural breaths and then switch arms so that the other elbow is held on top. So making sure that where the blocks are supporting your body feel comfortable in your body. If they feel too deep of a back bend, you can tilt them each one stage lower. Just like this, it will make it much milder. So on your own, just connecting with how you're feeling as you find that position of stillness. Maybe even close your eyes. Giving space here to just meet yourself mentally, emotionally, physically, where you are right now. As you're holding opposite elbows overhead, bring the intention of rotating your triceps, which are your outer upper arms, towards the sky or towards forward. That's away from your face, so that you can feel the tops of your shoulders broaden wider apart. And at the same time, slide your shoulder blades down your back ribs, even so slightly, lengthening the sides of your neck. If you haven't already, switch the arm that's on top and begin to deepen your breath. Taking it in, feel where your breath naturally expands the most. And as you let it go, open the mouth, hear the breath, create a sound. Deeper breaths in, slower breaths out. Finishing about 3 more cycles of breath. Remove the strap and just rest your arms down by your sides, turning your palms to face down, up, to face up, so that you can continue to open the chest, rotating the triceps towards the earth. We'll be here for just another couple of minutes. So thank you for those of you who usually come to our evening Wednesday classes. for understanding I had to cancel, or I chose to cancel last night because of the passing away of our cat. You've seen him on camera a few times, Rack. And interestingly, it got me to thinking about the theme of our classes this week, which have been about compassion and empathy. And knowing that he was going to be put to sleep earlier that day, I didn't initially think about canceling class. What went through my mind was the default thoughts of my own upbringing and conditioning, what you might call sitting in the ego, like, suck it up. The show must go on. Just tape it up and keep going, like if you were on a sports team. And it's interesting because how contrasting those words are to self-compassion. And I say that whatever theme that we're talking about in yoga classes, I really get to learn personally. And yeah, definitely, it was a moment of, wait a minute, what am I brushing aside the ability to grieve and actually feel even suffering and discomfort that we've been talking about sitting with, to get to? What is that greater destination that I need to get to? Yes, I love sharing yoga with you all, but if I cannot fill my own cup and listen to what I'm feeling, how can I ask you to do the same? So it really just reminded me that right here, right now, is where life is happening. In all of its turbulence at times, in all of its absolute elation and joy, right now is where life is happening. And being able to be there in immersion is what we're here for, I believe, part of it, rather than brushing it aside and seeing, I have to get somewhere else right now. Anyway, just a little bit of ahimsa. Remember that non-violence in the first limb of yoga. And listening in with self-study, svadhyaya, which is in the second limb of yoga. So as you're lying down here, begin to lift your knees up. You might use your hands to lift the thighs like you're closing a book. Set your feet on the ground, and then just gradually turn over to your right side, or if you like, roll forward so that you can eventually lift your body up to sit. Find a comfortable way to sit to facilitate that consciously deep breathing. And now as you close the lips, join the palms to meet at the heart for a moment and bow in, allowing a moment to set your intention or clarify the lens through which you're practicing yoga with today. Deep breath in, slow breath out through the nose. And now slide your hands down to your stomach. And as you breathe in, feel a gentle expansion there. But as you breathe out, hollow the belly, like the navel sucks in towards the spine. Just a little more pulsation on the out breath. We're going to begin breath of fire, which sounds like you're blowing your nose quickly. I'll do a quick demonstration. It's quite similar to bellows breath that we've been practicing, but the difference is the accentuation of the pulsating inward of the belly as you breathe out, like you're squeezing a squeeze toy. And it creates digestive fire. Yes, it works abdominal muscles for strength, but more importantly, it's the heat of tapas, the heat of Agni, inspiration for your practice, as we bring energy to the sacral and solar plexus energy centers. So if you'd like to add the kriya that goes along with what's called ego eradicator pose, it's that ability to see beyond the conditioning of the mind, that practice of that. You raise the arms 60-degree angles, and you make fists with the hands except the thumbs. And you'll point the thumb straight up, so you want to feel a bit of a stretch between the index and thumb as you do this. Shoulders are relaxed, and then you continue breath of fire like this. I'm going to set the timer for 1 minute. Do what you can. If you need to slow down the breath, pause and rest. Make it digestible for you. Ready? 1 minute, start. And you'll want to close your eyes, steady your gaze just between the eyebrows, creating heat in the belly, but keeping cool in the mind. So relax the face. Take a deep breath in. Hold the breath. Think of lifting your pelvic floor. Engage the lower belly. Drop chin to chest. Now keep the arms up as you exhale. Begin to bring the thumbs together overhead to touch. And then spread the palms face down, out to the sides, and all the way down. Relax the shoulders. And then gently open your eyes. Let's come down to all fours. Hands and knees, and set your knees right under your hips, set your wrists right under your shoulders, so it's a modified plank pose. Pointing your index fingers forward, parallel to each other, feel the thumbs spread flat. Now we're gonna do that exercise that helps us to differentiate retraction and protraction in the shoulder blades. So keep the belly slightly lifted, keep your gaze forward on the ground in front of your hands, think of a long straight spine. As you inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together in retraction. And exhale, splay the shoulder blades apart in protraction. Try that a few times on your own pace of breath. So remembering that all the while, unlike cat-cow, you're trying to keep the tailbone and the crown of the head along the same line, the same horizontal plane. The belly stays engaged towards the back as if you're trying to feel a flat back. Nice. Now find something in between retraction and protraction, where you can feel your hands rebound your weight off the ground. And you're continuing to spread the shoulder blades, but not round the back. Engage the belly with that feeling of a flat back. And now you can either straighten one leg, tuck the toes behind you, and then switch after about 5 breaths. Or straighten both legs, and we'll be here the whole time, firming the heels back in pose. Think of your tailbone actively lengthening towards your inner heels, your lower belly and the sides of your waist lifting. You have more of a protraction, yet it's not completely rounding the back as you lengthen the neck and gaze forward. How's your breathing? Remember that you can always set the knees down and offer even more support in your plank pose. Inhale, exhale 3. Lengthen through the sides of the waist, inhale. Exhale 2, 1 more breath. And then set your knees down. From here, spin your fingertips a turn out or back towards your knees. And just give them a stretch that way in your inner wrists and forearms. If you're feeling pretty open there, you could bend the elbows towards your belly, adding a little more intensity to that stretch. Now give your head some gentle movement at the neck, making sure your jaw and your neck are relaxed. Steadying the breath, cultivating Ujjayi Pranayama. That soft whisper at the back of your throat as you close the lips and sustain the breath equally. Now from here, take your strap. And if you do have yoga blocks, I'm going to invite you to, actually we'll just use one this time. I'm going to invite you to place that yoga block on the medium height across your mat, right about where your pelvic area, like right between your frontal hip bones, are going to land when we take that push-up position called Chaturanga Dandasana, that halfway down from plank. So you'll have to sort of measure where that would be, because that's going to give us some support to work on alignment, because we're going to hold Chaturanga with the support of the strap. So place your upper arms inside a loop of the strap. just above your elbow creases, making sure the buckle is not touching your skin. And then situate your pelvis so that right between your frontal hip bones is where you're going to land on that block. And then set your wrists right under your shoulders, spread the fingers really wide, index fingers parallel as they face forward, thumbs flat. And find that in between retraction and protraction in your shoulder blades, where your shoulders feel stable, you're looking forward, neck is long, lower belly is lifted, engaged, and it feels like you have a flat back. And take a deep in breath, and then shift forward, bend the elbows back, so you'll need to, you might have to adjust on the first round to where your hands are. And then the strap will be a cradle for about your front ribs that will allow you to hold that 90-degree bend of your elbows. You might have to adjust how high the block is as well. It's a little cumbersome at first to figure out where things are going to be proportionately, but then we're going to do this a few times after we set it up. So from here, as you hold Chaturanga Dandasana, you want to feel that you're not tilting your tailbone up high like you're sticking out the booty. You're elongating the tailbone back, and then you're gazing forward of your hands. Now broaden the chest and extend your sternum forward. Feel that you're not shrugging the shoulders or beginning to retract the shoulder blades. You can always push up when you've had enough for now. When you do push up, engage the belly. Remember that breath of fire, that pulsation of belly towards spine. Use that action to help you lift up and then to glide back, shoulders over wrists. So you might have to walk the hands further back towards your knees to start because we're going to glide forward. Now let's try that. We're going to come down to Chaturanga Dandasana and hold for 3 breaths. Then we'll inhale and exhale, lift up and glide back. So from here, start with the knees on the ground. Inhale, glide forward. Exhale, bend the elbows back to hug your side ribs as the strap will make you do. And then hold here, breathe in, belly lifted, exhale 3. Inhale, feel the neck long, exhale 2. Inhale, broaden the shoulder blades. Exhale here. Take another breath, engage the belly, press down through the hands and lift up. All right, we're gonna do one more round, but before we do, sit back for a moment, interlace your fingers, and rotate your hands at your wrists. Go in both directions. And if you need, you can shake out the shoulders, turn the head, making sure the neck isn't getting stiff. So what could cause the neck to get stiff or shoulders to feel burdened with more weight when you come down to Chaturanga is if we're not using the lats and all these muscles that we use to protract, and instead we retract and we squeeze here. This adds a lot more tension. Or if we drop the head, it makes it heavier that the shoulder has to carry more weight. So let's try one last time. You can decide if you want your legs straight or your knees on the ground. Have the wrists closer to your knees to begin because you're going to glide forward. Come into your plank pose for a couple of breaths. Keep the gaze ahead, and on an inhale, glide forward. Exhale, lower halfway. Let the strap and the block catch you so that you're focusing on space in the neck and shoulders, quality of length in the spine, quality of breath, not shrugging the shoulders, still a light protraction. And then when you're ready, use an exhalation, use that pulsation of belly to spine like breath of fire to lift up and to glide back. And then we'll set the knees down. All right, let's put the strap aside for now. Put the blocks on either side of the top of your mat. Make some fists out of your hands. You're going to get another wrist stretch in and gently press your fists against each other. Then lean the backs of your fists onto the ground and softly shift your weight forward to the degree of intensity you want to feel in your outer wrists and forearms. Being mindful of not adding more tension in the shoulders, the neck, the face. Stretch the breath in. Hear the whisper out. Couple more breaths. Then set your hands on the floor. Come into your version of plank pose. Now that we've imprinted a bit more of that physical alignment of Chaturanga Dandasana or four-limb staff, let's come into downward facing dog. Spread the fingers wide. Take a few breaths. If you want to pedal your feet a moment, feel free. We're going to take it down through a very mindful, alignment conscious vinyasa, pausing for at least an inhalation in Chaturanga Dandasana. Perhaps you pause a little longer and feel the imprint of that pose before coming all the way down to your belly. So in downward dog, wrap the triceps towards the floor, lengthen the sides of your neck, engage the belly from the front of your thighs. With an inhale, come into plank, so shoulders are right above wrists. You decide what kind of plank. Feel the lower belly lift, take another breath in, and as you exhale, glide forward, bend your elbows back. Remember the feeling of the strap and the block. At least an inhale here, maybe longer. Not shrugging the shoulders, gazing forward, and then come all the way down. Once you're all the way down, let's do a little yummy shoulder stretch. Lean your right ear onto the floor, or you could put a pillow or block off to the right, and slide your right arm straight out to the right with a palm face down, pushing the floor away with your left hand. Gently roll over to your right hip. Now, soften your right shoulder blade further down your back ribs, creating space on that side of your neck. And then decide how much more weight, if much more weight, you want to place in that inner shoulder. You could step the left foot behind you. You could also step the right foot on the ground, bending both knees. Just 3 more breaths on this side. Feel your collarbones broadening apart from your sternum to your shoulder heads. On this exhalation, gently roll onto your stomach to slowly switch sides. If you're using a block or pillow, set it off to the left side of your left ear so that as you press the ground away with the right hand, left arm opens to the left, palm face down, you can land on that prop, rolling over to your left hip. Now here, slide the left shoulder blade further down your back. Calm, deep breaths. Feel into what your body's asking for on the side of your shoulders. Maybe stepping the right foot behind you. Maybe also stepping the left foot down. 3 more breaths. As you breathe out, slowly roll onto your belly, preparing to hold cobra pose. So with the legs straight back, ankles no wider than hips width, actively point your toes on the ground so the knees are not resting on the mat. And then place your wrists alongside your floating ribs, hugging the elbows close to your sides. They're bent right over the wrists. And as you breathe in, press down to your pubic bone and coil your chest up. Looking on the floor head to lengthen the back of your neck, slide the shoulder blades down. Now let's hold here for at least 2 breaths more. So feel the active energy of lengthening the legs and tailbone back, rooting down through the tops of your feet, every toenail, and broadening the chest as you float the heart forward. Tucking your toes, press the heels back if you're going to keep the legs straight, pushing up through plank. Otherwise, lower the knees, engage the belly like breath of fire, and lift the pelvis high into downward facing dog. Deep breath in, smooth breath out. Couple more deep breaths. And bending your knees, lift your heels and hips, look in front of your hands. At the end of your exhale, walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat. In your forward fold, separate your feet hips distance and parallel. Bend your knees any degree needed, especially in the beginning, to really feel length in your spine, not rounding retention. Press your fingertips on the ground, maybe on blocks, or onto your legs as you breathe in to lengthen the spine forward. Pause, take another few breaths. Now feel the similarity with plank in this posture. Engaging the lower belly, broadening the chest, looking forward, long neck, engaging the fronts of your thighs. Keep all of that as you exhale, hinge from the hips. Firming down to your feet, inhale, sweep the arms towards overhead as you rise. Palms meet, shoulders relaxed. Exhale, trace your thumbs down your center line. Sun salutation A twice. Inhale, circle the arms up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, press to lengthen halfway up. Carefully step into your plank pose. And as you exhale, forward and lower through Chaturanga Dandasana. Maybe you pause for an in-breath or not. And then into Cobra. From down to the tops of your feet, breathe in, lift the chest. Pressing up through your version of plank, lift the pelvis back. Downward facing dog for 3 to 5 breaths. Holding space for what is. As you're ready, bend your knees and look forward. End of your exhale, lightly land at the top. Inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. Rooting down, rise as you breathe in. Exhale to gather at your heart. One more. Inhale, sweep the arms. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Step to plank. If you're gonna float, land in Chaturanga Dandasana. Then Cobra or upward facing dog as you breathe in. Exhale to downward facing dog. A few breaths. Now bring your attention back to your neck, your shoulders, and how you're placing weight through your fingers spread. Bring the energy into your hands as you spread the fingers flat, as if you're actively pushing the mat forward and away from your feet. And notice if you can feel a little more stretch in your lower back or ability to lift the shoulders to free up space in your neck when you do that. And at the same time, rotate your triceps towards the floor. Press the chest slightly towards your shins. And then firm the belly towards the back. So you're equally lengthening the front and back of your torso. Lifting the sitting bones. Let's take 2 more breaths, firming the very front tops of your thighs back. Now start with your feet hips width apart and keep your hips balanced as you inhale to raise the right leg behind you. Bending the knee towards your nose, exhale, firm the belly and lightly step the foot forward inside of your right hand into Warrior One. So you'll want to have the feet about hips width apart as you spin the back heel flat on the ground. Bending the front knee just over the heel, keep the hips facing forward, and then firming down through your feet, lift the pelvis upright, spine upright as you raise the arms. Let's hold for a few breaths to feel the weight of your outer left heel on the floor as you straighten your left leg. Spiral your inner left thigh slightly towards your back wall, which causes the left outer hip to come more forward. Keeping that, bend your right knee just on top of the ankle while drawing that thigh bone deeper into your right hip socket. Slightly lifting your frontal hip bones, lengthen your tailbone towards the ground while lifting up to your crown. Now as you raise the arms, relax the shoulders and lift your heart. Perhaps you join the palms and gaze up towards your thumbs. In Warrior One, take 1 more inhale. Use the exhale to lower to downward dog or to flow through Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhaling into Cobra or upward facing dog. Exhaling back to downward. Take a deep breath. Keeping the hips squared. Inhale, raise the left leg behind you. Engage the belly, knee to nose. Lightly step the foot inside of your left hand. So your feet are already hips width apart when the left foot lands. Dropping the right heel, keep your hips facing forward, the front knee bends. Firming down through your feet, engage your belly and inhale to rise. Virabhadrasana 1. Remember, you have the power to adjust for your hip width or whatever you're working with in your body, how wide sideways apart you place your feet so that you could land the back heel to the floor, and how short of a stance or how long of a stance, front and back of your mat. So firm the outer edge of the right heel down as you straighten the leg, spiraling the inner right thigh slightly behind you, while bending the front knee just over the heel, plugging the thigh bone back. Feel the pelvic bowl upright as you raise the arms. With shoulders relaxed, maybe you seal the palms and gaze up. Take one more inhale. This time we'll lower the hands at the top of the mat and step right foot to touch the left. Forward fold. Now taking sun salutation B in a continuous flow. Bend your knees to touch. Inhale, sit low and the arms up. Shift your weight towards your heels and chair. Exhale, shift forward and fold. Inhale, press with your fingertips, rise halfway up. Step into plank or lightly jump to chaturanga, taking your own vinyasa. When you arrive in downward facing dog, inhale, raise the right leg, keeping the hips squared. Exhale, engage the belly and step the foot forward so feet are hips width, dropping the back heel. Inhale, rise up, palms might touch. Exhale, lower into downward dog or chaturanga dandasana. Taking your own vinyasa if you're flowing. When you arrive in downward dog, inhale, raise the left leg. Exhale, contract the belly to softly land the foot inside of your left hand, dropping the right heel. Inhale, rise up to warrior one. Exhale, lower, use that. Chaturanga, cat-cow, hold plank, or straight to downward dog or child's pose if needed. Remembering that you have a plethora of options in every moment, every pose. And how are you choosing them with a discernment of honoring your truth as it is now? Let's take about 3 more breaths in Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Taking one more, sun salutation B. Prepare to end this one. Lightly walk or jump to the front of your mat. Feet touching. Inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. With knees touching, inhale, sit back in chair pose. Then exhale, rise to finish the first round. Last round. Inhale, back to chair. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Step to plank, float to chaturanga. Insert your own vinyasa here. Or meet us straight in downward dog. In downward facing, inhale, raise the right leg. Exhale the foot forward, dropping the back heel. Inhale, rise to warrior one. Exhale, lower, flow or no flow. Take side 2 on your own, and we'll meet in downward dog for several breaths. Letting the body find stillness so that the mind can follow suit with focused attention on your breath. As you're ready, walk or float to the top of your mat. Inhaling to lengthen forward. Exhaling to fold. Inhaling into chair pose. Exhaling to rise. So let's turn to face the wide width of your mat. And if you have blocks, as well as your strap, take them all with you. So stand in the middle, step or jump your feet wide, preparing for warrior two. So if you open the arms, a wide enough stance where your ankles land pretty much under your wrists. Blocks behind your calves. If you only have one block, place the first block behind your left calf. And then strap, just wear it like a scarf for now. And so from your hips, rotate your thighs, pivoting both of your feet to face the edge of your mat so that your left foot becomes your front leg. Align your left heel to intersect the arch of your right foot And then bend your left knee just over the ankle, wrapping the left outer hip underneath, aligning middle of left knee, middle toe down midline of mat. As the right leg slightly turns in from the top of that right thigh bone towards the opposite wide edge of your mat, pelvis upright, open the arms, restacking wrists over ankles. And relax the shoulders, and we're gonna move for a moment. So steady your gaze, past your left hand, sink into your warrior two. Firm down through both feet. Inhale, straighten the legs, palms up, bring them overhead to touch. Exhale, rebend, left knee, open the arms, warrior two. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, warrior two. One more. Inhale, lift, tracking the front knee, in line with the middle toe. Exhale, warrior two. Now let's hold warrior two. Breathing in, breathing out. Feel how you're firming down your weight into the outer edge of your right foot, as well as the big toe mound of your left foot. You're firming the front muscle of your left thigh, which is your quadricep. Lower belly is also slightly firm, containing the center. Open chest and relaxed shoulders. Now coming into triangle pose. Straighten the left leg. If you like, shorten your stance a couple inches to help with balancing. Glide your pelvis towards your rear right leg and reach the hand forward as far as you can before tilting that hand down to land onto your left leg or just to the left of the leg, maybe on a block. Now pressing arm and left leg into each other if you're not landing the hand on your leg. Keep wrapping the left outer hip under your body. Reach up through the right hand and see if you can lighten the weight of your left hand, the bottom hand. Turning your chest slightly to face the sky while releasing both shoulders down your back and still firming the lower belly in. Let's hold for 3 more breaths. Steady your gaze. Maybe you're looking up past the right thumb. Now firming down through both feet. Inhale, rise up. Keep the legs straight. Flip the left palm up and lift it overhead to lean into reverse triangle. Just to reopen that left side of your torso, hip flexor, and then come back to warrior two. Rebend the left knee just over the heel. Now, continue to wrap the left outer hip underneath your body, firm the belly in towards the back, and open the chest. Like triangle, reach the left hand forward and glide the pelvis back towards the rear leg. Bringing left forearm to left thigh, raise the right arm towards the sky. Here's the first option of this pose. Next option, wrap the right arm behind you, further open the front of your right shoulder, and maybe catch hold of the top of your left thigh. Making sure there's no compression in the lower back. Left hip continues to turn out. Next option, use the strap to help bind and further open that right shoulder. Holding the strap from your right hand, dangle it behind you as you wrap the right arm behind. So that strap is outside of your left thigh, and then reach the left arm inside of your left thigh to catch the other end of the strap. Whereas you nudge the inner thigh open with left arm, you also nudge back with your left leg. So there's no change in the left knee, middle toe orientation. And as you are using counter forces, you're able to turn the chest perhaps a little more deeply to face the sky while relaxing the shoulders away from your neck and still opening your left hip. Whatever version you're in, feel into it for 3 more breaths. Nice. Put the strap around your neck like a scarf again and come on up out of it. Straighten the legs, parallel your feet. We're going to forward fold for a moment. So bring your hands to your hips, feet parallel. Inhale, roll the shoulders back. Exhale, fold forward, lower the hands. Coming up halfway, inhale, press your heart through the gates of your arms. Exhale, fold a little further, lower the head. Lifting the shoulders away from the neck, just a couple more breaths. A little cooling intermission pose before we take side 2 of that sequence. Keeping your weight a little heavier forward towards the balls of your feet. Keep engaging the front of your thighs, remembering you could bend the knees if your lower back is asking for more support. Crawling the hands, inhale halfway up. Bending the knees, place your hands on your hips as you exhale. With an inhale, lead with your chest and slowly lift the spine. Find that wide stance for warrior 2 again. And now from your hips, rotate your thighs and pivot both feet to face the opposite edge of your mat. Looking at your right front foot. Align that heel to the arch of your left foot. Then bend your right knee to stack just over the ankle, aligning middle of the knee with middle toe. And open the arms for warrior 2, relaxing the shoulders and completely turning the chest to face your side wall, the wide width of your mat. Then let's flow. From down through both feet, flip the palms up. Inhale, straighten the legs and lift the arms. Exhale, rebend the front knee, warrior 2. Inhale as you lift, feel a little longer through the sides of your torso, sides of your neck. Keep that length and exhale, return to warrior 2. One more. Inhale up. Exhale, warrior 2. Now let's hold here for a few breaths, steadying your eyes just beyond your right hand. Feel the external rotation of your right thigh bone at the hip, causing the outer right hip to wrap slightly under your body. The internal rotation of the left thigh bone at the hip, causing your left toes to slightly point at your front leg. Pelvis upright as you contain your center with the help of your abdomen. Long spine as you relax the shoulders for 2 more breaths. Triangle pose, straighten your right leg. You might opt for a slightly shorter stance. Slide your pelvis sideways towards your rear leg, reaching the right hand forward before tilting it down to land on your right leg or just to the right outside of it. Perhaps you're using a block. Wrapping that right outer hip still under your body. Reach up through the left hand and see if you can lighten the weight of your right hand while turning the chest slightly to face the sky. Lengthening the sides of your neck. 3 more breaths in Utthita Trikonasana. Now, firming down through both feet, engage your quadriceps, front muscles of your thighs. You might micro bend the knees. Inhale, rise up, flip the right palm up, and reverse triangle, sideways bend towards your rear leg. Take just a few breaths to help open up that right side of your torso and hip flexors. Then return to warrior 2. So feel your warrior 2. Reach the right hand forward like you were entering triangle. Slide the pelvis away from it. And bring the right forearm to spring off of your right thigh. Reaching the left arm to the sky. Here's option 1, side angle pose. Option 2 is to further open the left side of your inner shoulder and wrap the left arm behind your back, perhaps catching hold of the top of your right thigh, noticing that you're maintaining space in the lower back, not compressing it. Option 3, go further into that inner left shoulder and take the strap in your left hand, dangle it behind you, wrap the left arm behind you so the strap is hanging out outside of your right thigh. And with your right arm reaching on the inside of your right thigh, you catch the other end of the strap. Press arm and leg against each other as you continue to walk the hands as close together as you can, rotating the chest further and still wrapping the right glute under the body. Whatever version of Baddha Konasana you're in, Parshva Konasana you're in, 3 more breaths. Side angle pose. Firming down through both feet, let the strap fall. Inhale, rise up. And let's step or jump your feet together to touch. Come on up to stand at the top of your mat. Inhale the arms overhead. Take a gentle standing back bend of your choice. Whether you decide to place your hands on your lower back, coiling the chest up, or you hook the thumbs. Draw the tailbone down and take a deeper in-breath. Then bend your knees and sit in chair pose. Keep broadening the chest while sealing in the lower belly, drawing the tailbone down. 3 more breaths. Shift your weight onto your left foot. Join your hands together in prayer at your heart. Turn out your right leg and wrap it over the left leg. Eagle pose. The right toes behind the left calf and scissor the right hip further back so both hips are facing forward. Now, if you want to add the arms, wrap the left arm over the right, crisscrossing at the elbows. Either hook your thumbs or wrap your forearms and palms, sliding the shoulder blades down your back as you lift the elbows to the height of your shoulders and gently press the forearms away from your face. See if you can sit a little lower with a spine upright for 3 more breaths. Garudasana, eagle pose. Now here, feel more of the protraction or splaying apart of your shoulder blades. As we open up into the outer hips as well. Now let the wings open as you exhale. So deep inhale, lift the elbows a little higher, and then spread your wings, let it go. Shake it out, jog it out. Second side. Bring your feet to touch. Bend your knees to touch. Sit back in chair pose. Arms up, lift the heart, draw the tailbone down, seal the belly in. Steady breaths. What are you feeling in this moment mentally, physically, emotionally? Can you allow space to simply feel it without aversion or resistance? Then join your hands at your heart, shift your weight onto your right foot. Turn out your left leg and wrap the left leg over the right, flexing the foot or tucking the toes behind the calf and scissoring the left hip back. Sit a little lower. If you want to add the arms, wrap the right arm over the left, crisscross at the elbows. Hooking the thumbs or wrapping forearms and palms, slide the shoulder blades down your back. Elbows to the height of the shoulders, pressing forearms away from the face. With a vertical spine, relaxed shoulders, 3 more breaths. What are you dedicating your efforts to in your practice today? Get ready to take flight. Deep breath in, lift the elbows a little higher, and let your wings fly. Walk it out, shake it out, jumping jack it out. Bring your feet to touch. And bend your knees one last time. This time, come up high on the balls of your feet and splay your knees apart. Hug the inner edges of your feet to touch. Lower your hands either on blocks or the floor ahead of your toes and draw your sitting bones back as you crawl the hands forward. So this is a hybrid of, or looks like a child's pose in a squat, which you can use in preparation for an arm balance, crow, bakasana, or you can use to help you sit down and fold in Baddha Konasana. You choose what your energy is talking to you right now. If you're going to crow, hands are flat, shoulders width apart, a foot in front of your toes. You find that slight protraction in the shoulder blades, lengthening the neck, and think of Chaturanga Dandasana, which we imprinted at the start. Hollow belly, hug the knees behind the armpits as high as you can, and bend your elbows back into sort of Chaturanga Dandasana. Bring the feet to touch, hollow the belly, lift. Maybe the feet rise, maybe they don't. Whatever expectation there might be, let it go and just be here where life is happening right now. Whatever is happening, just being here with your breath. Now, if you're bending the elbows and you're catching some hang time, perhaps you work on straightening the arms. They'll eventually meet sitting down. So grab your block. Come on to sit, pelvis at the center of your mat. Put the block aside near the back of your mat. Set your feet on the ground, parallel hips distance. Turn your palms face up, arms reaching forward. And then draw the shoulder blades down the back Even though your torso is vertical, can you feel plank pose in it? That's hugging in the front ribs, lower belly's engaged, strong, and then use that to slowly lower onto your back and head. When we can feel the interrelation of various postures, we can really find more depth within the postures and perhaps more benefit. All right, once you've come down, grab the block or anything like it and choose either the lowest height if you're feeling pretty tight in the hip flexors, or medium height if you feel kind of warm by now. And lift your pelvis, place the block under the flat part of your lower back, your sacrum. Take a moment to really find the spot where you can feel supported and not uncomfortable. Actually, it should feel really nice. It's not too close to the bottom of your glutes. It's not close to your rib cage. It's just at your sacrum. And once there, bend your right knee towards your chest, catch hold of your right thigh or shin with two hands. Now you might use a strap if you begin to lift the shoulders away from the floor in order to reach. You want to keep the shoulders resting down, the neck long. And now if you're able to bring that right thigh in, start to slide the left heel forward on the ground, flexing the left foot. See how it feels to straighten that left leg. Maybe you don't do it all the way, or you do. Try not to turn out your left leg, but to keep the left knee pointing at the sky. And also press the big toe mound of your left foot forward. That'll help to just create a little more opening into that left hip flexor. Now, if you like, you can circle out your right foot, point and flex the toes. Taking just 2 more deep breaths. After those chair poses and eagle poses, this might offer some relief into the front creases of your hips. Now bend both knees, set both feet on the ground, pause and take a deep breath. Just feel what's here. Then bend the left knee closer to your chest, catching hold of your thigh or shin with 2 hands. Relaxing both shoulders down. Explore perhaps straightening the right leg forward, keeping the heel rooted on the floor and the right knee facing the sky rather than turning open to the right. Add pressing the mound of your right big toe forward as you flex the foot. Encouraging lengthening along the inseam of your right leg. Let's take 3 more breaths here. You might like to move around your left foot, point and flex, circle. And then from here, step the left foot down, set the right foot down, and you can decide if you want to stay in supported bridge, keep the block under, make it higher perhaps if you're feeling even looser in the tops of your hips and thighs. And turn the palms face up, really close to your sides, opening the chin, the throat, tilting the chin back. You could stay on the block and lift the legs up, and so you're in a supported legs up the wall pose without the wall, unless you have a wall and you want to go there. Or you can take a regular bridge pose. Remove the block, slide the upper arms under your back ribs, perhaps interlace the fingers for 5 to 10 deep breaths. So whatever you're choosing, continue to feel rise of your chest, opening the space between chin and chest. If you are in some form of bridge pose, keeping your thighs parallel and lengthening your tailbone towards the space between your knees, all offers support for your lower back. And then when you feel like you're ready to come down, gently lower your spine and remove any block there might be underneath. When your pelvis meets the ground, gently windshield wiper your thighs left and right together. Just massage out that part of your lower back that was touching the block. After a few rounds of moving the legs around, draw the knees into your chest, hug in, close your eyes, and drink in a deep breath. Hold it at the top for a few seconds. And opening the mouth with a nice long sigh, release your arms and legs to the floor and close your eyes. Release control of your breath too. Landing here for a few minutes of Shavasana. As you keep your eyes closed, just take a moment here to still be still and just feel the effects of your practice on your body, on your mind, your spirit. And very gently, as you feel ready, ease into small movements, the gentle stretch of your choice, so that you can eventually find your way up to sit. Allow a few breaths to get there. sitting, join your palms to meet your heart. And let's just be here in observance of the mind for 1 minute, feeling your breath naturally. Allow a deeper breath to lift your heart and exhale through the mouth. So as we move into the rest of our day, how might we be conscious of holding space for what we're feeling in the moment, including times of hurt and processing change or difficulty, so that we're not just brushing our own feelings aside to just simply so-called move on. Truly digesting life as it is. Let's close with one chant of Om. Take a deep breath. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.